Hi there, Andy Friend here from Connacht Rugby. Firstly, a huge congratulations to all you players, coaches and parents on working through what's been a really tricky year. I'm pleased to be able to announce that now we are rugby ready. So as of the 26th of April, we can start underage training. There will be some restrictions which have been set out by the RFU and Connacht Rugby, and it's really important that we adhere to those. So do yourself a favour, watch the Connacht Ready video on the Connacht website, be aware of what the parameters are and the restrictions are, and then get stuck into some rugby training. Wishing you all the very best and looking forward to seeing you at the sports ground soon. Cheers.
Connacht Ready is an extension of the RFU Ready for Rugby roadmap. This is to provide coaches, compliance officers and those on the ground at sessions with the information they need to know ahead of a return to rugby. All training parameters included are in the context of reducing risk, with running sessions safely paramount to the return. They have been guided by RFU Medical Director Rod McLaughlin. As we are aware, from Monday 26th of April, clubs and schools can return to underage, under 18, non-contact outdoor training in pods of 15. At the moment, this is all we know and the first stage of any return to rugby, so we should focus on this. Further information will be provided as and when available. Firstly, if we look at our pods of 15, a pod of 15 consists of 15 players in activity. They have come to train at the session. Coaches and compliance officers are separate from the 15 as they are not in activity. This may mean in a particular area on a pitch you may see 17 or 18 people operating in a pod. However, the key aspect is that only 15 of those are the players in activity, and that would be 15 as a maximum. Pods should be formed in advance of sessions, so you know, as far as possible, those that are attending training. This also means you know who is required to complete the health declaration before attending training. Can pods cross over? Simply put, they cannot cross over. By creating pods in advance, players should arrive and go to the designated training area they are assigned. They should not interact with anyone from another pod before, during or after training sessions. All activities from arrival to departure are done within the set pod of 15. Each pod should be kept in their designated training area. There should also be a 10-metre separation zone between pods to ensure accidental crossover is avoided. Changing pods. Pods ultimately should be kept constant from session to session, meaning the same players are working together for the period of time you are returning to training. If you are required to make changes, please ensure this is for good reason and they are kept to a minimum. A player changing pods requires to be absent from training for 7 days before moving to a new pod. The health declaration check-in also ensures that players are not displaying symptoms before any return to training. From the 26th of April, all activities that we can undertake in training are non-contact based. This would include skills activities and small-sided games. Tag and touch games are also allowed, but again only within your pod of 15. Equipment that can be used: balls, cones, poles, tag belts, tags. This is really an extensive list. Equipment should be kept to a minimum and sanitised after every use. If using bibs, a player cannot swap a bib with another player during a session. That must be used solely by them for the duration of training. Bibs must then be washed after use. You cannot use any equipment that would promote contact activities. Tackle pads and rucking shields should be kept away in store cupboards for now. We should also avoid the use of traditional whistles. Mask wearing. Coaches, compliance officers and anyone working with a pod but not in the activity are required to wear a mask. The reason for this is busy or crowded areas, even outdoors, pose a potential risk of transmission. We classify pods of 15 as busy or crowded. Also, with the discovery of new variants that are more transmissible, This is an additional step to give you peace of mind that you're doing all you can to protect not only yourself, but those at the training session, and in turn protecting the elderly relatives and those most vulnerable to COVID-19. This is an outline of the role and responsibilities of a compliance officer at a training session, before, during and after training. First and foremost, all players attending a training session must have completed their health declarations in advance of attending training. Players must sanitise hands when they arrive before going to their designated training areas. During a training session, compliance officers should promote good COVID-19 etiquette. This would include hand hygiene before and after training, social distancing when out with activity, in water breaks for example, mask wearing for coaches and compliance officers, avoiding handshakes and team huddles. Managing COVID-19 issues may be required if a player displays symptoms or feels unwell during training. The resource to familiarise yourself with here is the RFU Case Response Guidelines. This is available on the RFU website and outlines the step-by-step response should this occur. I am also at the end of the phone to advise further in these instances. After training, players should leave in a controlled, socially distanced manner. They should sanitise their hands as they leave and do not gather together after training. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this video. All Ready for Rugby resources are available on the RFU website. Should you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact me using the details on screen.